to my March wrap up. I know it's almost the end of April, but I've had a few busy weeks. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip through all my projects, share with you what I worked on in the month of March, especially that I don't get to do a lot of flip throughs for you. So, I really enjoy putting these videos together so you can kind of see all the layouts I put together within 1 month. So let's get to it. I'm going to set these aside and we're going to check out all the projects that I worked on in March 2024. All right, so I'm going to start with my Everyday Explorers little mini journal. I noticed that I always forget my mini journals, but the thing is, I didn't really work much in this journal in March. I was hoping to kind of document a whole month in this journal, but that didn't happen. I believe I have a process for some of these layouts, but I was able to document a few days in March in a few layouts, and that's about it. I didn't document anything else, sadly, but that doesn't really bother me because what I always end up doing with these mini journals is I do take them apart and I put them on spirals. Let me actually share this with you because I've shared it with my peaches before, but I don't believe I shared it here on my channel. So let me grab my notebooks and show you what I mean. So basically, this is what I do. I take apart my little journals and I use my cinch machine, punch the holes, add them on spirals, and then I have all my little journals in one place. And so when I don't complete one little mini journal, I don't feel guilty. It feels actually good to see all of the pages because when you look at a journal like this and you only have 2 spreads, right? And you didn't finish the rest, it feels better looking at it as a whole in a large, chunky notebook like this. I don't know why I can't close this. What's happening here? Oh, okay, these are stuck. Okay, so when you see it all in one place, it just feels better and you don't have that guilt of not completing a whole journal. I never throw away the extras. Okay, so I still have the extras on the side with its kit, like its stamp and stickers. And then when I have time, I'll work on them. Most of the time, I work on these when I'm crafting with my peaches, just so I can catch up. But this one holds a lot of them. So you can see here, I think this one's one of my oldest ones, but I have 3 of these. So, and they're pretty chunky. So that's pretty cool. And that's why when I don't complete the journal in 1 month, I don't get kind of upset with myself or judge myself for not finishing a journal. But anyways, that is my Everyday Explorers notebook for March, and hopefully I can work in it more throughout April and May. So in my disc-bound Traveler's Notebook cover, my peachy binder, I have done a few layouts in here. Let's take a look. Okay, so I feel like I stopped here. I'm not sure when I created these, but I feel like I did these in February, and then the rest, or some of the ones in the back, I did in March. Yeah, I feel like I did this in March, where I do have a process video. I used my Studio Calico kit, and I created this fun spread of us going to the aquarium with the kids. And then I did create this one as well in March. You probably saw this in April for my Studio Calico video, but I actually did do this in March, and this one was fun. So I do have to create something back here, but that doesn't bother me that it's empty right now. I'll get to it when I get to it. I also did create this in March as well. Again, you most likely saw this in April, but most of my videos I have to create ahead of time. And so these might have to be stuck together back to back, or I will probably make a different layout with this because I do love that paper. Documenting spring and the flowers blooming and the trees. This one was really fun. I used my Cocoa Daisy for that one. This is another March layout. where I used my Studio Calico kit. I do have a reel sharing how I put this spread together. This one was really fun. I love those flowers. I love cutting out photos and just using the silhouette of a photo or of people and then adding something behind them. This is one of my favorite ways to create in my traveler's notebook. I've done it for years and I don't mind trimming out my photos. I do have this photo in the cloud. I have it on my phone. I have it everywhere. So I can reprint it if I want to. And that last spread in the back, I did in April. So we will just leave that one for my April share or wrap up. Anyways, those are my traveler's notebook layouts in my disc-bound traveler's notebook cover. All right, so let's take a look at my Passion Planner spreads. So this is March's calendar. It's nice and full. There was a lot happening in March. I also filled out my books. So I read 7 books in March. I love keeping up with my books in my planner. Ramadan was in March as well. So the first week was just, regular life, planning all the things, adding my gratitude and what I'm thankful for. But then Ramadan started the next week or the second week of March. So I used my printable here and I kind of struggled with my printable this year. I think I created that printable last year and I had added it to the end of the month and did these little flip ups. But this year I switched it around and added them to the bottom of each day where I could add my gratitude. And it was fun. You'll see here it was kind of busy. So I changed it up for the next week and I just colored in the moons to make them darker and for them to stand out, but still be able to write over it, if that makes sense. So that was fun to play with. And I really like how the month of Ramadan kind of stands out in my Passion Planner. There was a lot of no work days. I'm trying to remember. I think I was out and about, things like that. That was fun. Oh yeah, now I remember. Sabine had spring break that week. We did a lot of, around town sort of things. So there was a lot of no work days, which was great. Again, keeping up with my thankful and gratitude down here. Played a lot with my Posca pens for the month. I feel like I didn't share my setup video for March in my Passion Planner. So I just literally stamped the evil eye. This is a stamp set from Studio Calico. It was a collaboration that I did with them for Ramadan. It was like a Ramadan stamp set. So I used it here. I think that's from it as well, or that could have been my collaboration with Kelly. Oh, these are from Studio Calico collaboration for Ramadan, and these are from the one I did with Kelly Perky. So that was fun to kind of play with my Ramadan stamp sets. And I think that's about it. We jump into April. So that was my March in my Passion Planner. It turned out really cool. I do keep going with the little printables in April because Ramadan ended the first week, the first week of April. So anyways, that is my Passion Planner for March. Let's take a look at a different project. All right, so let's take a look at my reading journal. I think I've said this before. I love this size. I think this is the perfect size for a reading journal. It's not overwhelming. I've really been enjoying it, and it's so easy to fill out every single month. So this is how I read in March. I missed 2 days of reading. Again, I think these are my out and about days with Sabine, and so I didn't work and I didn't read as well. My bookshelf is up to date. Actually, I think I read these last 3 or 4 books in April, but I'm recording this in April, so that's what happens. I am reading Frozen River now, so I have not rated it yet. March's book club pick was perfection. I love that book. Definitely my top book for the month. Big book reads. My friend and I, me and Elizabeth, we read The Shell Seekers for March. And I think I gave it, yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I always add the books I read. So I believe I read 7 books for March. Yeah. So I read 7, filled out my Goodreads, added all the photos for my book covers for the spread, and then we can jump into March. So my March spreads, I did set up my calendar and everything. I will try to remember to link that video here in the description box for you. But my calendar is complete. And I've said this before, I just write the name of the book, the day I start, add a little line until I finish that book, and then just add the end. And I usually highlight it with the same color. So once you look at the calendar, you can kind of see where I started and ended one book. I read 7 books. I read 2,359 pages, which is not bad at all. And so that is my favorite book of the month. It was so good. If you have not read Against the Loveless World, it was perfection. I cried my eyes out. Like, it was so good, so good. 5 stars all the way. So this is my big book read that I buddy read with my friend Elizabeth. Again, I gave that 4 stars. Against the Loveless World, it was our book club pick, and it was my favorite for the month. Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry was so good. I gave it 5 stars. And Lucinda Berry is slowly becoming one of my favorite authors. I think I read another book of hers in April, I feel like, but it was just so good. I love her writing. It's very enjoyable, and the way she goes into like stories is wild. Anyways, The Teacher, Frida McFadden, it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I was kind of generous with the 4 stars. Yes, it's out of this world. It's not very believable, all the stuff, but it was entertaining. And so I decided to give it 4 stars for entertainment reasons, basically. And I read it pretty quickly. I did read Matthew Perry's, I think it's called Friends, Lovers, and Terrible Things, or The Big Terrible Thing. I gave it 3 stars. I hate giving low ratings for memoirs just because it's not about his story that I gave 3 stars. It was the way this book was written. It was not my favorite. I don't know the editing of this book. It was no good. So I ended up giving it 3 stars, but it was very painful to read his story. He went through a lot of hardship throughout his life, basically. The 7-Year Slip, this is a very hyped book, and that's why I read it, even though I hate reading hyped books because I always tend to not have good luck with that. And I didn't with this one. I didn't understand the hype. It wasn't even that good. I was pretty generous with the 3 stars. It was just okay. Nothing special whatsoever. One of our own, Lucinda Berry again, so I guess I did read in March 2 Lucinda Berry's. This is a short audiobook. It's not available in physical books or anything, so I listened to it, and man, was it good. It's very short. It was so good. Again, a new favorite author to me. I really, really enjoy her writing, and I really enjoy her stories. So good. 5 stars. And that's about it for March. Again, 7 books, and I drew all my covers, FYI. They look pretty awesome. I think these 2 I did on Procreate. The rest I drew myself. I was so shocked by my Matthew Perry drawing. I was so proud of myself with the Matthew Perry drawing here. Yes, it's not the best drawing ever, but it was pretty good. Like, I'm not good at faces. And this was the whole point of drawing my own covers, is they don't have to be perfect. It's just fun and something I really enjoy doing. And if it doesn't look perfect, it's okay with me. I'm a-okay with that. I think I did that on Procreate, that I drew myself here, like directly on my page. And I drew that directly on my page. So a lot of times if I do it on Procreate, I'll print it on sticker paper and just stick it down. And then sometimes when I have enough time to like bust out my pencils and my stash, I'll just sit here and draw it myself. So that was fun. Love how my reading journal turned out for March. Alrighty, let's take a look at my Scrappy Spiral notebook. So I know I shared a few spreads in my February, and I feel like, February. Yeah, and I feel like I stopped here, and I did complete this. I think I wasn't done with this spread when I shared my wrap up for February, but I did complete this spread, and I did document my niece's birthday as well. Love those photos of her. And then we jump into March. Again, I'm just adding little dividers throughout my Scrappy Spiral notebook. Documented my dad's birthday. I really love these templates that I've created. I feel like they give me enough space for large titles or space for journaling, for me to use my cards. I've been using a lot of my cards from my Studio Calico kits. I've been slipping in some of the tags from the Studio Calico kits as well, which is a lot of fun. I think this was the tag. This was probably the tag from the packaging. I trimmed it out and then I backed it up with some paper and one of the Studio Calico cards as well. So this has been so much fun being able to slip in my own paper and cards because I'm able to use those cards in my Scrappy Spiral notebook. Documenting my sister's birthday as well. Another Studio Calico card that I trimmed down to fit into my box. And then I just added my journaling right over it with my matte sticker paper. But the next two spreads I cannot share because no, I'm lying. Okay, this one I did do in March. I just remembered. So I can share this one. I used my Studio Calico kit for the spread. I grabbed one of the 6x8 paper. It had like a Polaroid and I just used that to add my photo there. That one was a lot of fun to put together. I had fun with that, just kind of documenting how proud I am of myself. And yes, I do document myself a lot in my projects and kind of speak to myself about how proud I am, the hard work I've put into everything I've done from day one. I've been on social media since like 2017, and I'm so grateful to be able to keep growing my business. I never in a million years thought I would have my own business using products and creating products that I truly love to work with. So it was a proud moment, and I wanted to document the new stamps that I have created and added into my new shop. Anyways, I still haven't finished this. I do need to add some journaling here, but I'm just documenting springtime. I take plenty of photos of my backyard. I just love seeing the flowers blooming, the trees turning green. So I like to document that. So I went ahead and put a few photos together. By the way, because I used this 6x8 paper, the backside had two 4x6s. And I really, really love this one. Let the sun shine in. And so I wanted to use it. And to make it look like two 4x6s, I did add my photo and covered the bottom portion. I wasn't a big fan of the bottom portion, so that way I was able to use the 4x6 at the top. And then I also did use some Studio Calico cards to add some color. I wanted to bring in some of that yellow to the opposite side of my spread. But anyways, that is it for March in my Scrappy Spiral notebook. Let's take a look at my Project Life journal. All right, so I've mentioned this before. I am using a Hemlock and Oak weekly planner for my Project Life journal. And so this is basically a memory planner. A lot of people use their planners to add photos and tidbits of life. And you can use a happy planner, like a lot of happy planner people do that. I know a lot of people use Heidi Swapp's planners as well, like Stop the Blur and all of that. I like the Hemlock and Oak paper. I had this weekly planner in my stash and I didn't want to waste it, so I decided to use it. A lot of this is inspired by my friend Julie from Plan to Create. I mention her a lot here on my channel. I will link her in the description box for you. But if you're not following her, you should. Her stuff is so beautiful. She does like creative journals, planning in her Hobonichi, planning in her Hemlock and Oak, her daily journal, all the things. So if you're looking for new inspiration, I definitely recommend Julie. She is awesome. Okay, so I feel like I stopped here, if I'm not mistaken, for February at the time. Yeah, I feel like that's where I stopped. So we jump right into March. I like to keep things consistent in this journal, but sometimes I go all out and go off the grid by basically. But you'll see that most of the time I like to keep the numbers up top, kind of keep things in place. Sometimes I will print my photos larger. It's not a big deal. And I add the week number, right? But I sometimes like to play with my stamps and my stickers and change it up a little bit. And for week 9, I did just that. I used my Cocoa Daisy kit, used these really fun stamps that I had in my stash. I believe those were Cocoa Daisy as well. Added a little bit of color with my numbers. And I didn't stamp them all at the top. I kind of played with it a little bit. And I really, really like how it turned out. So I do end up redoing this somewhere else in a different week, like trying it out again, just because I really liked how it looked. But I'm basically documenting my dad's birthday here, launch day for the peaches. I think like I had breakfast at my sister's as well. And then I added my collage in the back. I really like these little collages. I do use my digital kits as well to fill in some of the spots. And then we jump into March. And week 10 is all about launch day. My husband was traveling and came back home. We had the library book sale. So my son and I went to that. My sister's birthday, just documenting little things. That's my new Summer Alpha. And I had gotten the samples and wanted to try that out. That was fun. Love those alphas. We adopted a new dog and her name is Arya and she's adorable. So I wanted to document her. I still didn't journal here, which is a-okay. I'll come in at some point and journal about that. And I used this really fun stamp from Studio Calico. It's an older stamp and just added Arya to the family, which was fun. Ramadan started as well, so I documented that. And I also kind of talk about Ramadan iftars as well at my mom's. And I think the next one I cannot share because that is coming in May very soon. But you can see here in week 13, we're still in March. And there's like little spots that I need to fill out that I haven't done, which is fine. And I'll get to it at some point. These little things don't bother me. I don't feel like when I start something, I have to finish it like right now, especially in these types of journals, just because I can always go back in and fill in the gaps, right? So that is week 13. So basically I'm caught up for March. I believe the rest I did in April, so I'll share that in my April wrap up. But those are the layouts that I created in my Project Life journal, and they are just so fun and pretty, and I really, really had fun with it. And I wanted to say I have no regrets switching my Project Life at this moment. I'm really, really enjoying this process. It's so me. I love using my stamps. You guys know how much I love using my stamps. I try to find all kinds of different ways to use my stamps, using them in my traveler's notebook, starting using them in my bullet journal, and then growing from there in my daily journal and in my planners and all that good stuff. I've always tried to find ways to use my stamps, and to be able to use my stamps in another and new project to me makes me even happier because I was able to use them in my pocket pages in my Project Life albums, but not like this. So being able to use my stickers and my stamps in another project just brings me so much joy. Anyways, let's take a look at my daily journal. So this is something I'm very consistent with. You guys know how much I love my daily journal and I do it every single day. This is my March calendar, just documenting the dogs multiple times, hanging out with my parents, Ramadan starting, Gaza, work, just little tidbits from my day, the peaches, obviously, always. And so I really, really had fun with March. There was a lot of happy moments and sad moments as well. So I had the peach launch and I was just documenting that. Shipping day, the peaches literally almost sold me out, as always. Having fun with like documenting my dad's birthday. I love this stamp set from Studio Calico. It's just so perfect for birthdays. I used it multiple times this month. And then we have like the launch of my website. I talk a little bit about my kids as well throughout the day. Grooming day for Stitch. My husband came back home from Texas, so I documented that. Spring is in the house and kind of just documenting little tidbits of that as well. Really having fun with my stamps and my stickers, documenting my sister's birthday, going to the library book sale. So Ramadan started. So for Ramadan, I always like to use these larger numbers from Kelly Perky. It lets that 30 days of Ramadan stand out in my daily journal. So I like to use that for my Ramadan days. And I'm just talking about things that are happening throughout Ramadan, basically. I did at the beginning start kind of talking about iftar every evening, like what we had for iftar, if I cooked, if we ate at my mom's, just little tidbits like that. But I think I stopped doing that after a while, because usually Ramadan starts strong and then by mid-Ramadan, I'm so over cooking and we're just eating whatever is available, basically. Some vet days. Oh, this is the day we adopted Arya. And then just talking about Arya and Stitch and how they're getting along. I got my samples here for my new Summer Alphas, so I was using it like crazy. You can see here I used it here and here. I was just trying it out, and here I really wanted to kind of make sure that they stamp well, they look good, they're the right size and all that good stuff. And after that, I was like addicted. You'll see that Summer Alpha throughout March. We got to go to the Gibbs Garden and just documented that out and about with Sabine. I was so proud of myself that I had that many steps in one day. I'd never have over 10,000 steps in one day, but that was fun to document. Again, just little tidbits from the day. And this is why I love my daily journal, because I can look back and see what I did that day, like chat dates with my friends, like work, a lot of work. The peaches, our Zoom night. That is a new peach stamp that's coming soon, which I'm so excited for. And then just documenting iftar at my brother's. This actually makes me laugh because instead of stamping a K, I stamped an R. I blame it on my dyslexic brain. And so I didn't want to fix it. I was just like, I know I can cut out a piece of paper, cover that up, because that's usually what I do. But for some reason, I didn't feel like it. So I just put a line and then added K right next to it and called it a day. And again, because it's my daily journal, it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. And I find it to be really, really funny when I do things like that. I actually did it again here. And I showed it to my son because I misspelt his name. And I told him, oh my God, you're going to hate me. But again, I blame it on my dyslexic brain. And we laughed about it. And so I just put the LOL right under it because I'm not going to fix this. It looked really cute. When I was done stamping, I was like, oh, this looks great. And then I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I misspelled that. But, you know, that's part of crafting. And just looking back and seeing all the little mistakes brings me joy. So anyways, that is my projects for March. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I feel like I'm good. They look like a lot, but really they're not. It's just a few spreads in each project and I love them all. So I'm not giving up any of them, honestly. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that's a lot for you to keep up with. But no, I really enjoy doing this. And I do want to remind you that this is part of my job as well. I don't like to call it my job. I still don't look at it as my job because I love to craft and create. But because I use a lot of these projects to share spreads with you and products with you, so it is a part of my job. And that's why I'm able to keep up with a lot of this. I do a lot of YouTube videos, and because I do those YouTube videos, it keeps me on track basically because I'm sharing all these fun things with you. But, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't forget, I will be linking everything in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed watching my wrap up video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.